Welcome to online highlights of the Cody's D1NZ Championship Series, Round 3 at ASB Baypark in Tauranga. Last year, defending champion Whangadan took a back-to-back victory in front of a sellout crowd, but with a new championship battle underway, all eyes will be on Red Bull's Mad Mike Whiddett as he looks to extend his championship lead. Yes, it's round 3 of the Cody's D1NZ National Drifting Championship here at Baypark Speedway, and what an awesome event and an amazing turnout. Well, it was a sellout crowd last year, and well, it looks to be just about the same this year. Let's get right into the championship chase and check out the points table. So after the concrete scrap in Whangarei, Mad Mike Whiddett and Gaz Whiter are locked in on a head-on joust for the championship. Just 2 points separate the two, ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen in third. Defending champion Whangadan down in 7th place. He took a dominating win here last year. Can he put on a repeat performance, or will the likes of young Nico Reid be a dark horse and shake up the points table heading into the halfway mark of the season? Well, ASB Baypark played host to another fantastic round of professional drifting. The fast and flowing concrete line course attracting thousands of race fans back to the premier D1NZ showcase under clear blue sunny skies at Mount Maunganui. Another near sellout crowd was treated to plenty of entertainment, with the New Zealand All-Stars also on show. Series points leader Mad Mike, one of many drivers enjoying the Baypark atmosphere.
Yeah, I think Tauranga is probably my favourite track of the season. It's not the fastest, but it's just the whole atmosphere it creates for the crowd. We've got the FMX, of course, with the All-Stars first time doing something like this. Indoor, we've got the skate park and the BMX, so it's good. It brings a different, demographic of people as well. Some older generation people come down in Tauranga. It's summer. It's like when we were teenagers, we used to bring our rotaries down here and bop around at New Year's and stuff. So really cool to be here in this atmosphere, and really hoping for a win today.
Oh, this is just blows you away, eh? Whangarei is quite cool because the crowd can be near the track, but this just tops it, eh? There's just a really cool setup this year with the pits a bit out of the way, so the crowd can get right near the track everywhere. And there's good music, sun's out, everyone's enjoying themselves. It's primo, yeah.
Yeah, the crowd and the venue at the Baypark Stadium in Tauranga is amazing. It's really central, it's really close. Everyone, we put on a good show for the crowd, and it's up there in your face, the smoke, the noise, and yeah, you can't beat that carnage, and yeah, fiberglass flying in the air.
Tauranga locals Drew Donovan and Jody Verhulst enjoyed their weekend on show in front of a home crowd. Team D1NZ coming to grips with the infamous concrete walls.
I've taken a little bit longer to warm up than most. Just started getting out close to them, but they're not very forgiving, are they? I think it's claimed about 4 or 5 cars already, so pack's sort of thinning out a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's really a confidence thing with the walls, and be prepared to sort of end up putting the car into it if you get a little bit wrong. But we've built some bumper bars at the back of the cars to sort of take a bit of the hit away. But yeah, big one obviously is gonna still take the back of the car off, but it's all in good fun.
Recovered from surgery, Andrew Redwood returned to the D1 field at round 3, looking to regain missed points from sitting out of competition in Whangarei. The V8 powered Achilles FC RX-7 looks strong heading into qualifying, despite Andrew battling issues with third gear.
Everything was pretty good except for the gearbox. We had issues a couple weekends ago and lost fourth, so we went for a taller diff this round. went to third gear, and now we're having issues with third gear popping out. So at the moment I've got a bungee cord holding third gear in, and it seems to be working all right. I'll just have to leave it in third the whole time and just pray that it doesn't smack out of gear.
Sitting second in the points chase, Gaz White put on a wild smoke show throughout practice on day one, before a bizarre crash during warm-up sent the Tectaloy S14 into the wall right before qualifying.
First lap this morning, drove around for a look lap, gave it a sort of power over skid towards the end, you know, halfway through the track, went out and then it just gripped up, something locked up and then just spat me into the wall, disconnected the diff and the drive shaft wouldn't turn as well, so we pulled the gearbox out and nothing visibly wrong with it, put it back together and then it's still got no gears, so it's out of our control, so we couldn't get the car fixed. Jumped in Troy Jenkins' car, who was lucky, you know, he gave us that car to use for qualifying, which was awesome. Like, can't thank him enough, you know, to try and get some points.
Stepping into the Troy Jenkins Pro-Am car, Gaz White qualified down the order in 18th place, securing a position in the top 32.
Be on road tyres, not on the city slicks.
Another series front-runner having a bad day was Cole Armstrong in the V-Energy R34, and despite bouncing back from a crash into the wall during practice, the bad luck continued in qualifying, Cole spinning out in both passes.
Yeah, just looped it again, second time, so it's the second time for me in my whole career that I'm not in the top 32, and I'm absolutely gutted. Pretty gutted I let down the old, you know, home fans and friends and family that have come along, but hey, I guess that's motorsport, so yeah, Taupo next, so hopefully we can have a bit better luck there and yeah, bring the old girl back to the old podium, eh?
Zach Pohl was another contender to have a tough day behind the wheel. The Rollet Action Cam R33 Skyline suffering engine dramas, forcing Zach to qualify in a borrowed car.
On the fourth lap, we heard some sort of vibration as I was coming out through the back of the pits and decided to come in here and we pulled the gearbox out and it seems that the flywheel's snapped off the back of the crank. But Ben Wilkinson from Pro-Am stepped up and lent us his S13, which also runs an RB30, keeping it in the family of course. And I mean it's a little bit daunting going from my car, which I've driven so much, to a new car. We went straight into qualifying with a car I'd never driven before. We had 3 laps. We had 1 test lap and 2 qualifying laps. So we qualified 9th place from a car I've never driven before. So you know, we're still biting my nails a little bit, but it's all, you know, just got to do it.
Sky Zhao made a return to the D1 field in Tauranga, back behind the wheel of the LS7 powered 2 degrees 350Z, and despite tagging the wall in qualifying, the D-Spec team banked a 78-point run, qualifying in 13th place.
Yeah, we've just been Japan and China, done a lot of drifting, competition and coaching, so finally we go back in the car in Tauranga. It's my second time driving the 700Z with a new motor package. It's amazing, and at this little track, concrete walls, committed full speed, we actually ran 3rd and 4th, so there's a lot of speed going to the wall, so I've been loving it.
Achilles Radial's Bruce Tannock was one of 10 drivers last year who took a hard hit into the wall at Tauranga, and despite qualifying down in 22nd, Bruce had regained confidence heading into the battles.
The car's holding together and gripping really well, but the conditions are quite changing, like the track's getting hot and cooling out a little bit, and if you get slightly offline into the pebbles or the rubber, it's a bit sketchy. So, but when you're out there in another car, you forget all the walls and it's just looking at the other guy, so I'm looking forward to that now.
Heading towards pole position, Pro-Am graduate Matt Lauder set a benchmark run in his first lap of qualifying, putting on a slick drive in the SR20 powered 180SX.
Yeah, I was real happy with my first run, and Jock, my spotter, sort of had a chat to the judges and pretty much said that was my best run of the day, so I just parked it up and watched the rest. I didn't want to risk it. Felt like I should be pretty high anyway with a 92. It's up there. It's pretty hard to get too much higher than that, so ended up 5th, which I'm wrapped as with. Got a buy into the top 16, so first top 16 of the season, so yeah, man, real happy,
Defending champion Whangadan reverted to an old car setup after a tough round in Whangarei. The Castrol Edge Commodore on song qualifying in 4th place.
Oh, awesome, man. We did well here last year. We qualified well last year, so it's looking like the same thing, we had a good practice yesterday, found the groove, felt happy with the car, rubbed the walls up a bit, and blew some tail lights out, and it was awesome, man. And we just qualified 4th today, so that's good, bit of a buy, and claimed some points, man.
This is Nico Reid on it. Well, Nico Reid all over that line.
Rounding out the top 3 in qualifying, young gun Nico Reid would take 3rd place in the Luxury Sports S15, setting a 94-point pass in the RB30 powered Sylvia. Andrew Redwood would take 2nd place in the Achilles FC RX7, but it was Mad Mike who stole the show, setting both a 90.5 and 95 score in the shootout, the Red Bull RX7 taking pole position at ASB Baypark. So Mad Mike extends his championship lead, taking the honours in qualifying. Andrew Redwood enjoys his return behind the wheel in 2nd place. Young gun Nico Reid takes 3rd ahead of Woolhouse, Lauder and Whitaker. Australian Michael Prosnick slots into 7th with Aidan Omland in behind. Shane Van Gisbergen battles gearbox dramas into 9th place. The Gulf Force kid Joe Kukatai rounding out the top 10. Welcome back to round 3 of the Cody's D1NZ Championship Series at Baypark. Highlights of the top 32, Shane Allen with the good run against Chris Jackson in the Surfab S14. The advantage fell away for the Rattler Falcon in the chase. Jackson through to the top 16. Tauranga locals Aidan Omland and Jody Verhoff met in the 32. The Milwaukee Supra straight-lining in the chase, giving the win to the Aidan's Tyres Altezza.
Another straight line. That's a nice entry.
South Islander Johnny Latham would take an easy win into the top 16 with Zach Pole crashing out on the borrowed Wilkinson S13, while Drew Donovan forced a rerun with Gaz Wider. While Gaz Wider did his best behind the wheel of the Troy Jenkins Sylvia, it was Drew Donovan who took the win into the top 16. The standout battle in the top 32 went to Kyle Jackaways and Joe Kukatai as the Hamilton schoolteacher did his best to fend off a strong chase from the Gulf Force Skyline, Kukatai taking the win. Into the top 16 bracket, Chris Jackson led out from top qualifier Mad Mike in the Red Bull RX7, but the S14 was no match for the four-rotor Mad Bull. Aidan Omnan continued a solid drive against Adam Hedges in the 16, taking a win into his first ever top 8, while Fangadan took an easy win over Sky Zhao, who suffered a clutch failure in the 2 degrees 700Z. Johnny Latham was another driver with mechanical failure, sending Matt Lauder into the top 8. Andrew Redwood continuing his qualifying form with a textbook chase on Drew Donovan. Joe Kukutai put on a solid lead from Michael Prosnick in the V8 powered S13, but consistency would pay off for the Australian as the Gulf Force R32 tagged the wall. Prosnick through to his first ever top 8 on New Zealand soil. In a battle of former Pro-Am champions Darren Kelly and Nico Reed paired off in the 16, the Thirsty Liquor R34 hitting the wall hard, sending Nico into the top 8. One of the big knockout battles of the weekend went to Bruce Tannock and Kurt Whitaker as the Achilles RB-powered S13 laid a strong chase against the 2JZ-powered Skyline, Bruce Tannock forcing an OMT. In the rerun, Kurt Whitaker would come in too hot and take the back of the Rocket Bunny Sylvia, Bruce Tannock grabbing the win.
Bruce Tannock gains some distance and Kurt Whitaker runs it out around the wall. What a run from Bruce Tannock. He was still a little bit.
Into the top 8, Aidan Omnid lined up against Mad Mike for a shot at the finals, and despite putting on another good drive, it was the Red Bull RX-7 grabbing a win into the top 4. Relishing his front-running performance over the weekend, Matt Lauder led out from Fangadan in the top 8, but going too deep on the first clip nearly sent him in the wall, Fanga grabbing the win. Australian Michael Prosnick was enjoying being back in his own car for round 3 of his debut D1NZ season, lining up alongside Andrew Redwood.
Andrew Redwood has the lead, Michael Prosnick has the chase, both cars in third gear, winning the speed.
The top 8 is where Prosnick would finish though at Baypark, spinning out in the chase, Redwood through to the finals.
In the lead, Nico Reed will have the chase. Bruce Tannock with an aggressive entry this time.
Nico Reed and Bruce Tannock went head to head in a scrap of RB-powered Sylvias. In the end, Nico would gain the advantage, grabbing the win in the Luxury Sports S15.
All open for Bruce Tannock, bringing it home, Nico Reed.
Into the semi-finals, one of the closest fought battles of the season would unfold as Mad Mike and Fangadan lined up in a rerun. Fangadan would repeat a textbook chase in the big Holden Commodore, Mad Mike managing to pull a small gap on the last corner. Swapping over the Castrol Edge, Commodore continued a superb lead, but it was Mad Mike who managed to reel in and hold his proximity to the defending champion, Red Bull, through to the final. Andrew Redwood led out from Nico Red in their top 4 battle. The Achilles Ruddell FC RX7 opening a gap on the Luxury Sports S15.
All the way up. Nico Red runs it round the wall.
In the chase, Andrew Redwood capitalised on his first pass advantage, holding a close chase run into the final with Mad Mike. This would see a battle of young and old as the former Pro-Am champion lined up against two-time Drift King Fangadan, Nico Red doing his best to fend off a hard-charging Castrol Edge Commodore. Evenly matched Fangadan led out from Nico Reed, setting a fantastic lead run. Woolhouse would hold the advantage into turn 2 as Nico put a wheel off track, but it would all fall apart in the final section as Fangadan took a spin, Nico Reed grabbing 3rd place on the podium.
Nico Reed passed him and Fangadan spins out.
By now it was clear series points leader Mad Mike was out to solidify his championship lead, lining up in the final against the hard-charging Andrew Redwood. Both drivers performing at their limits, Andrew Redwood would lose grasp of the Mad Bull in the second half of the track, the Red Bull RX7 pulling away.
Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen, this is for all the marbles. Andrew Redwood, Mad Mike, win it.
Mad Mike would hold the advantage in the final pass of the weekend, but it would be drama straight off the line. Mad Mike missing a gear, Andrew Redwood pulling away, leaving the Mad Bull in a cloud of smoke. Redwood grabbing his first round win since 2009.
Good stuff, bro. That was sick.
So the man from California takes his second career win in the D1NZ series, his first time since his debut win on the streets of Whangarei in 2009. Mad Mike Witter takes second place and secures his championship lead ahead of Nico Reed, the young rising star, taking his second career podium. In third, Woolhouse, Lauder, Prosnick, Omnant, Tannick, Whitaker and Darren Kelly round out the top 10.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. So 2009 was the last time I was up there, and it feels good to get that round win finally. I've had a lot of bridesmaids trophies, and yeah, I was getting a bit sick of it really. Spinning in the last corner and just doing silly mistakes. So it's good to see it all finally come together, especially with the car in the state it was. Gearbox barely holding it together, you know, clutch on its way out, and smashed up the wall on the first day on the second lap. So yeah, it's great that this all just worked out well, and yeah, good package. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I thought I had a huge disadvantage in my lead run, in my chase run, because I was just too far up on Mike, and like my front wheel was in line with his front wheel, and that's just no good. But yeah, luckily in my lead I was able to pull away, and I think he made a few mistakes, so yeah, it all worked out well.
Alright, bring on the next round?
Definitely, man. Taupa will be there and ready, and I'm sure it'll be a slightly better gearbox in there hopefully by then.
So after 3 rounds, we reach the halfway mark of the season and Mad Mike extends his championship lead 78 points ahead of Gaz Whiter. A big move from Nico Reed, who now sits in third, but look who is behind him. Kurt Whitaker, Andrew Redwood, Daniel Woolhouse, all separated by just 2 points. And a mention for Shane Van Gisbergen, unable to compete the battles with gearbox dramas. He takes a big drop back to 8th place. So the next round of the championship heads to the fast and flowing Taupo reverse circuit in late February. How will the series points battle unfold? Well, you can catch all the highlights right here. Don't miss the action. Oversteertv.co.nz.